one of the things that I focus on is self. Not Neen.
Not Neen.
Who are you? Not Neen.
Not Neen.
Not even.
And when we talk about not Neen, we'll be talking about your name, and if you have and never feel bad that you don't have a good name, as long as you know your name, your clan, your will, your mother, father, grandparents, and where you originate from and where you're living. So we've always talked in the sessions that we have, and this is what I'm teaching my children and my grandchildren in private session. So it's so for me it's Theresa Stevens, you anish wam little giddy lachgebu pedere wilps loose will sa witwi twats lachgio dor Stevens wat noe twats Russell Stevens wat nogodi we manosik what Roy Wilson and Myrtle Wilson Nijiti and Nie Anu Nohoy, my mom's side. Russell and William and Elizabeth Stevens what Nijiti and Nie Anu Nagodi. Ellen and Kael what Agui Nijiti and Agui Nie Anu Noi. Nendin wilach na agwinie and agwinoe and Rodi Moses and Esther Stevens nama anu nagodi agwinijiti and nie. So those are some of the things that it's important, and just to know who you are and where you come from. So Git Kaldo will Apsawitwi Ijoy Anspayaxw. So I originate from Kaldo, but I live in Kispiox. I was born and raised here. So it's important to let people know, because sometimes when we're meeting other people and or older people, they want to know who your parents or your grandparents are all the time. Then they'll know where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that, Theresa Stevens is my name. I belong to the Wolf clan, Wilps Loose. My mom was Dor Stevens. My dad was Russell Stevens. Roy and Myrtle Wilson were my grandparents on my mom's side. William and Elizabeth Stevens were my grandparents on my dad's side. Then you can just go on. My family originates from Caldo, and we reside in Kispiox. I was born and raised here. So those are important to remember. And if you keep practicing it, and even as far as going to research on genealogy charts and stuff of who you are and where you come from, I think is so important. So even if you did it in English tonight, I'd like you guys to practice it, and then from there we can go to Gitxsanimx after.
Can you write it in Gitxsanimx in the chat?
Okay.
Thank you. Mia.
They will catch up.
When you say your mom's name, do you say her maiden name?
No,
Okay.
I should. But
But I think we'd know if we know which whelp she comes from.
my because I said my grandfather and my grandmother on my maternal side is Roy and Myrtle Wilson. So, and it would be good. Oh, did I? Oh yeah.
So should we say the maiden name when we introduce our mom?
You can,
Okay.
because sometimes old people don't know. Like, I hate saying old people, but it's,
The elders.
yeah.
Ko
Oh yeah.
the ko the ma ko hey.
Oh yeah.
Did the ma. Okay, the ko.
Eh,
Okay,
or you can say we horse with.
or we host with Dagi Tuski, Hamaya,
We horse the
We horse with.
we horse whip.
Yeah. So that's the elders or a wise people. So I've put down on there
Okay. No, she's listing what we're going to say in the order we should say it to practice.
I'm Jaban.
I can start because I
Okay.
can read it. Silver swai. Lach gibus padegai. Wilps loose wilsawitwi. Ivy Stevens wach nochai. Harry Johnson wach nagodi. Wilps was. How do I say my father clan?
Anu Nugot,
oh yeah, Anu Nagotwi.
Anu Nugot, when
Wilps was anu nagotwin.
Anu Nugodi,
Anu nagodi.
Amna,
Plishwin.
I can give this a go. Liginap wae lachsel pedeki whoops do whoops nikaden will sawitwi Sarah Woods wat nohi. And I don't know how to do the rest, Theresa, because I follow, I'm assuming, my grandfather's house.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, sorry.
So your grandfather is Jimmy
James,
and that would be
I'll have to find out. I really don't know.
Gwit was was Melwoodski Rosaline name Goda.
Los at Kutkunuk sa good it was Los Willie Kutkunuk. It James okay.
No, James
James
gave his name to Alvin. We get to gave it to Niskimanu in Gitxsanimx.
Oh, Robert. Okay, so that's your grandfather clan?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So James Woods and Ellen Woods, Nzitsi and Neye and Nzitsi. Okay.
Jenny or Dice?
Ni gel cloy, gem skill, that clock.
Did you want to go, Rose? Oh, Dicey's gonna go.
The play Daisy you can Helene Lawson, Waganix.
Okay, because I just signed in, I don't know what we're doing. And if we're doing introduction, I'm kind of I'm not sure on how to do this.
Okay.
Because as soon as
Dicey,
I start talking, I mean, as soon as I start thinking in my head on how to say it, it doesn't want to come out of my mouth. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I get blocked. You know, I say it in my head, but when I start wanting to talk it, I don't know if it's because of what happened to me when I was in grade 1 in school, you know, because I always got hit on the head for saying when in grade 1, I didn't know what English was. First day of school, I went in there and I got drugged down to the principal to get beat, you know, and I didn't even know why I was getting beat. But ever since then, my language has always been turmoil in my head because of what had happened at such a young age, you know. So it's really crazy because I can understand what everybody's saying, but when it comes to me trying to say something, the simplest things comes out not coming out at all. So I just want to listen for now.
okay.
Then maybe I'll jump in next time.
You can introduce yourself in English, Dice.
Okay, my name is Diane, right? I'm currently living in Surrey right now, but from Kispiox. My Gitxsan name is Yarayer. My mom and father is Emily Wilson and Philip Wilson. Lachkabil. That it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amayuksa Nichta Anti-Dice.
Oh, love you guys. We already knew soon.
We all need.
Colin, did you want to give it a try?
Milach aks waay. Kiskas pedikti. Wilpstiba sa wilsawitwi. I believe my mother's name is Wiach Wach Nooy. We Mughals Wach Nagodi. Hawao kan siba sa nitsi nizitsi niye.
Is Jenny there? Jenny, you can do it in Gitxsanimx or in English.
Hello, yes. I'll have to do it in English because this is new to me. I really appreciate learning. My name is Jenny Morgan. I am from the House of Mughals, and my parents are Clifford Morgan from Kitwanga and Connie Wilson from Kispiox, and my grandparents on my mom's side is Alice and Stanley Wilson, and on my father's side, Martha and Wallace Morgan. Thank you.
Help me out, Jenny. Jennifer?
Hi. So I don't know how to do it in Gitxsan, but my name's Jennifer. I'm grouse fireweed. Apparently, I thought I was killer whale for years. My mom is Gail Compton Bannock. My dad Bob Compton. He's white man though. My grandma is Edna Stevens, and my grandpa is Mike Bannock. And they lived in Terrace. We're Kitsalas band. And I live in Prince George right now.
Okay. Mia, I just Vic was supposed to be helping me tonight. I'll get a hold of him to do for next week Friday. But that's where I wanted to start. I want people to feel comfortable with introducing themselves, because one time or another you're going to have to do it in public. And even if, you know, and I know the other speakers have said it before, I've listened to a little bit of it, and you know, I was telling, I went to Smithers today with Silver, and I talked to Colin about it too, that I was shy. I didn't want to do this, you know, and I think it's reclaiming myself, reclaiming my language. And if I'm going to be shy, I can't even imagine how you guys feel, because because I can speak it in a conversational aspect. I can introduce myself. I can I understand it and I write it. And I was I wanted to touch on just a little bit of what Diane had said. Diane is a year younger than I am. And when I want to just share a little bit of history about just a personal part of myself that I don't know if many of you heard me talk about it before, but my dad had attended residential school, and I didn't know. I didn't know that my dad attended residential school till he died. I was 33 when he passed away. So when I was 4 years old, my dad taught me how to write, to print, speak English, and he taught me everything I needed to know before I got to grade 1. I had to learn subtraction, multiplication, addition. I had to learn my ABCs. I had to learn how to read, and I was 4. So when I got to grade 1, I literally just sat there while all the children in my class spoke Gitxsanimx. They didn't understand English. They were being physically abused, verbally abused, and I sat and I watched. And I'm asking, being a 5-year-old going on to 6, asking myself, why are they hitting them? Like, what's going on? So when because some of the kids couldn't understand the language, I started at recess. I started teaching. I taught one boy because the teacher was relentless with him. You know, he sat in his own urine during class and his own feces, and I didn't know what was going on, because every time he needed to go to the bathroom, he'd ask them Gitxsanimx, and they wouldn't allow him. Same with the other kids. And so it was probably in December, first week of December, I started teaching him teaching him how to put up his hand and ask teacher, can I go to the bathroom? He lived just up the street from me. And so we hung out a lot with each other's families. My parents were always up there, or they were always down here. So teaching him, and then going back after Christmas holidays, and for him to put up his hand so proudly and ask the teacher, teacher, may I go to the bathroom? She looked at him and she was like, what? Who taught you that? You know, just berated him. And I was like, this is what she wanted, because I would sit there and interpret for some of the kids, and then I started getting hit. And so anyways, he was allowed to go to the bathroom. I went home and I told my dad, I said, I don't know why she picks on him, but I taught him, you know, I taught him how to ask to go to the bathroom, and she still picked on him. So when years later, I used to be so proud, you know, it switched. I was always proud that I was the smartest kid in class. That was one of the things that I took so much pride in. But you know what? After I found out my dad went to Indian residential school, a lot of the people in my age group are just reclaiming the language now. And when we were talking about language revitalization, that's when, no, I worked for GDC, I was contracting. So they hired me to be, to interpret to the elders that we went to visit. So I was an interpreter for them, the elders, and I'd go out with them and interpret the questions and, or, you know, having conversations with the speakers in the communities. And it was my coworker that had asked me, where did this come from? And I'm like, where did what come from? She goes, when we go out to the communities, she says, you speak like fluent Gitxsanimx, where a lot of people in your age group have lost it because of Indian day school. So that's where my real story comes from. My dad preserved the language through me, teaching me English, teaching me how to read, to write, teaching me what I needed to know before I got to grade 1. So that one day I'll come back full force to be teaching Gitxsanimx, or even just to be speaking Gitxsanimx. And now, looking back at it, I take a lot of pride in speaking Gitxsanimx. And like I said, I've never ever looked at myself as a teacher, but when I look back at it, and as I sit here today, looking at you and speaking to you guys, I am teaching by example. Teaching by example, so that, you know, if I could do it, we can all do it together. We can all do it together. The only thing that I see is the levels that we're at. We're different levels in learning, but it'll take one step at a time. Because the other group that I have, we were allowing new people into the group. So I have this group that we have Thursday nights, and we started back in September. So we were talking about there was a big influx in people wanting to come on the page. So I had to talk to the group that I was working with. Should we allow them in? And I thought it was so cute because Doreen Angus, she says, we're going to be like grade 1 and they'll be in nursery. And I thought that was so cute because it's true, because we're at different levels of learning, right? So I think it's important that we know who we are and where we come from. In every aspect of our life, when people look at us, who are you? Ndal sa witwin, nach non, nach nagodin. And I'll say, we manosik is my nagod. Samogit el is my agwiniye. You know, and that's so important because we go through life and we're, you know, we want to belong. We want to belong somewhere. And you know what? You all belong. Each and every one of us has been born to a Gitxsan woman with Gitxsan ancestry. Or if you have a Gitxsan dad, you belong. You exist. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you don't belong, because you do. And I think that's the most important of all. When you're walking, you walk with your head high and say, you know, this is who I am. This is where I come from. This is my will. Because wherever you go, whatever room you enter in, your ancestors are beside you and they're behind you. You have to remember that and you have to believe it. And, you know, and so when we talk about the language, there's the language, then we have the culture, the traditions. You know, we talk about the totem poles, the lahyip. This is all what entails in the language, and yourself, you. So when we walk away from here today, gee, I don't know anything about the stories on the totem poles. I'll encourage you to find out. What's the meaning of the crest of the blankets we wear? The songs that our Wilp sings. I'll encourage you just to research those, even if it's just touching a little bit of it. It'll give you more, it's a lot more empowering for you. Because I'll tell you one thing, I'm 60 years old. I don't know what the meaning of the crest, our crest is. I don't know if we have a totem pole. I don't know any of the songs, but I can speak Gitxsanimx. I can understand other people out there when they're speaking. So, and I want to reiterate what Flora had said the other night, that it doesn't matter how you spell it, it's how you pronounce it, because that would make the difference in your conversation with somebody else, is how you pronounce it. pronunciation is so important, because just that one word or you know, we have the, and that's something. How many of I want to ask, how when we talk about the letters in the alphabet, in the Gitxsanimx alphabet, oh, there's Wak. Woo. How do we like the long A, short A? How many of you have gone through that in the for the Gitxsanimx?
Nope.
I
Silver?
have. Short
I-
A is Lachiep.
Yeah. So if I didn't prepare a lesson for tonight, but I usually do prepare stuff for my classes or for my sessions. So but tonight I just wanted to do the introductions. I think that's so important, just to introduce yourself, and we can I'll go over it again, and you know, I know these are recorded, so we can go back, and we can go live too. Like we can go live on the Facebook page and do the pronunciation or the so I'm gonna do the whole Gitxsanimx thing. So you anish Hawaii. Wilps loose will sawitwi. Lach gebu paderai. Kamlach gyo was noi. We manosik was nugodi. Roy and Myrtle Wilson was Najiti and Nie Anu Noi on my mom's side. William and Elizabeth Stevens was Najiti and Nie Anu Nugodi. So that's on my father's side. Antlo and Kail was Agui Najiti and Agui Nie Anu Nohoi. And I need, this is where I need to know who my great grandparents are on my my dad's side. I think it's Henry, Aluch, and Emma Wack.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to say it. Henry, Aluch, and Emma on my dad's side are my great grandparents. So put your video on, Wack.
Two.
Still calling them Wak too.
Yeah,
And did we say what Wak means?
brother. So
Sorry, I'm late. I just caught in.
so just Jennifer, I don't think you met my brother. It's my brother Victor Stevens, and I think you know everybody else. Hey, what? There's Jenny Morgan. Qui?
I know Jenny.
Yeah, Dicey.
I know Diane.
Rosaline, Lori Woods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lori.
So I was just covering the introductions, Wak.
Okay.
So did you want to introduce yourself?
Kaldik neer, why? Kaldo will say which way. Will lose will say which way. Kibul padek. Taki was noy.
Come Lachio.
Come Lachio, noy. May Stevens. We Manosik, Nagordi, Russell Stevens, William Stevens, and Elizabeth. In it, we can see Roy and Myrtle Wilson. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Yeah.
Neat. So just for future references, Vic will be helping me, and I'd also appreciate if Rosaline sat in with us too.
Body when so wisdom if come sa adik stuli ay kanis huilen ni mojan ni lie will if come my heart is a bit heavy, but I'm okay just seeing this coming together and introductions. I know I was already feeling my so when my tears want to come out, that is just a part of my feelings that I'm letting go of feelings today. So lady lo am body wouldn't get some kay which Paul sa habang dex po amayani you taught me some stuff today, which it was hard for me to go through with the heaviness, the feeling of grandmother taking care of all of us and missing the father role. And the father role is always so heavy, but Gimpi and Nikta bees were always there for us, and Nikta with grandmother to help us, to look after us, to make sure we have our food and our gardens and everything.
Yeah. So
And
I don't know how the group feels, but what you guys would like to do. We could. There's such a broad topic, you know, when we talk about Gitxsanimx. And like I said, I don't know at what level people are, and if we can get some get you guys to what I would like is to hear what you guys are interested in learning, because in the Thursday night groups we've covered pronouns, possessives. We're working on commands now, like daily routine commands, and addressing like greetings. We covered that. And so I'm just wondering where everybody else would like to go with on Friday, next week Friday, and I'll have the lesson up, and I'll share it with Vic, and then we can just go from there. I'll have to watch Art and Flora and Rosaline's to know or what we can cover. And I think it's I think it would be comfortable, whatever you're comfortable with. because I like to do a lot of pictures. I like to do a lot of interaction,
Oh,
a lot of interaction with the groups.
I'd
Okay.
like to learn. I'd like to learn like plants and trees, like the names for the different trees and plants.
oh,
Animals,
that was
Yeah,
good.
like
Yeah.
traditional foods. Where I mean, there's lots to cover. There's like things that people done in the past, I think can be revived. All the stuff like gardening and storing away your food, like in the unused
Oh, yeah.
stuff that hasn't been utilized for almost 50 years.
Mm.
Things like that should all be revived. And in order to do that is to reintroduce it in our language, explain what it is and how to go about it.
Mm.
Fruit preparation, and when to harvest, where to harvest, all that important. It's important to me anyways, because I survive off the land. I don't do much grocery shopping. Most of my food comes from the land or the river. And that's the way we should subside as Gitxsan people, because that's how our people survived in the past. There's no grocery stores or a bag of chips to grab off the shelf.
Mhm.
All our foods were either planted or harvested from the land or the river.
Mm.
And that's essential because we as Gitxsan should know all this, and if we don't, it should be revived through memories. And I've been doing some research on a lot of this stuff, so I think it's quite relevant to what we should be introducing to the group. I don't know if that's sufficient enough for you guys or suffice, but I mean, I'd like the input from you guys. I'm sure she'd like to hear. She did mention what you guys are interested in learning, but this is one I'm interested in because I practice most of it, and my wife and I we do all this stuff because, for one, it saves money, and second of all, it's part of our culture. It's what we know. It's what we should be doing, and it's healthy. Our foods are healthy. What do you think, Paul?
I really agree with you about harvesting and preserving. I do the same thing. I go out on the river and I go get the fish. And then, but that hunting part, I haven't been gone out for a long time since, Killian haven't been gone out, so I haven't been going out either. And
That's narrative. Goodness say it.
Story with you.
So I'm just going to go over this quickly and show you what we've been doing in the other class. So I show pictures.
Oh,
So
okay.
that, and my the participants have been really good at, and we do reviews.
Oh.
So that's one. And then we have
Deuce.
Deuces. Kispiox.
So this is what I do with my group class.
Okay. Miss Moose to seek them.
Yeah,
And
and there's,
Miss Moose. Oh,
so I have that. So we can go over those. And like I said earlier, Colin, if we could,
I'm just going to throw a jab out.
if we could have a page where we can post those all,
Okay.
and because I think it's and people can study them, review them. Now we're into commands, everyday commands. So I come up with commands, and I do it in Gitxsanimx, and then I go live on the page so they practice it. So when it comes to session time, we'll say it together. But I think it's important that we, like I said, with the if we can get the alphabet, that I have the Western one, and
Rosaline's got the Gitxsan one from Edith.
Okay, and so we did clothing and items. I play games. We play guessing games or whatever, and everybody guesses the Gitxsanimx on them. And they're getting really confident. So like Balan. So
Those are really good ideas. Wow.
They
so
are.
we need to,
Maybe now then Uncle and you can work together with Uncle sending you photos of the land things he does, sharing
Yeah.
the words, because he knows the words, he said, and then you're really good at making flashcards. It's a really good combination.
mhm.
Before I forget, Victor, you mentioned, was it unused? Unused? Unused?
Unused.
Is that a seller?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Okay, that makes sense. Unused. Okay.
That's a Yipum unused. Yipum unused it's underground. And then Condom unused, those are the ones that are on stilts.
Oh, like the one at Kispiox before.
Yeah.
Oh,
Up
okay.
high. That used to be behind Elsie Morrison's, remember Trees?
Yeah, and Jeff's.
Yep.
You know, we did like a huge garden last year. We still got lots of potatoes left. We didn't know what we were doing for a cellar. We basically built a log cabin underground. That's all. That's how we did it. It worked.
Yep.
But learning how to do stuff like that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. And that, I think that's so important, that if like even I know the urban Gitxsan wouldn't be able to do it, but like even having Colin and Vic going out, and we can take pictures of trees and as a session, you know,
And
like being on the land.
Yeah, and then
Yes,
we could see
see?
the name for it of unused, all the
Yeah.
materials you need to go get it.
Exactly.
So I
That'd be
think that'll
amazing.
be nice.
Word derivatives are good too, like where the word comes from. Why, like the word hot. See the word hot? Fishing net? It comes from it's a Gizra's word. Dad explained that hoog dit aard, milk, ashes from the fire. And that's what they threw in the river to confuse the salmon so they could scoop them out.
Mm.
And then it just turned into a fishing net after. Eventually, anyway, they used fishing net what they named the fishing net an art.
Hmm, that's cool.
An
Yeah.
art.
No, it's just art is the net. An art is where you is fishing hole.
Oh,
Yes,
art
yeah.
is just the net, and an art is the fishing hole.
Yeah.
See, that's what I meant about
Okay.
that. How we need to put the words together carefully.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to put your words together carefully. So when you're speaking to somebody who understands Gitxsanimx, and if you that one word or can mean something different.
Yep. Pronunciation very
Yeah.
crucial.
I remember speaking to when I was working out in Glenville, and I was working with this working with a coworker. He says he came across an elder. He says, "Oh, Datligila win." He says, He says, and then he's supposed to say, "Kanin, kanin," and then he put the T at the end and an XW, and he says, "Kantunin," and she just looked at him and was like, "What?" And she just looked at me and she just walked away disgusted. He says to me, I said, "Do you know what you said to her?" He goes, it's like, "Oh no." So we really need to be careful in how we say things, and being leaders in Gitxsanimx, we need to be careful how we teach you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like some words have two meanings.
Yeah.
A good example is dooch. Dooch was knife.
Yeah.
And it means the color black as well. Dooch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Doot.
Eh.
Doot.
Black then.
So I'll prepare for next week. I'll go over it with Vic and we'll come back full force. And I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I was like I said, I was nervous. I was nervous to come and I had hesitated. That's the reason why I didn't answer calling for a long time.
Gitxsanimx, I am just so happy that it's underway, and I'm just so honored to be learning from you, Theresa and Victor. And yeah, I think your idea for our Facebook page is amazing. I'm gonna make it right away, and it'll be public.
Mhm.
And I
Eh.
think if anyone wants to do an introduction video and post it on the Facebook page, maybe we can make a bit of a challenge. And I'll
Okay,
write out everything, and I'll try to make one myself.
Woo!
Eh.
Plum.
Eh.
Gimgamnism.
Eh. Mogam.
Gamnism. See you next
Eh.
week.
Eh.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Little Japsum. Eh.
Gitxsanimx.
Eh. I'm a yuksa ni losum. No, losum. Eh.
Bye for now.
Eh. Kagodum. Means our hearts are full. Eh.
Hey,
It feels good to speak.
I know.
Kasi when you will take it, Willie. Okay, yeah, I'm in.
Okay.